back in 1978 and got a chance to see these teams at their pinnacle in a lot of respects, especially for Georgia still at this point, given the fact that they haven't hoisted that golden scepter like Clemson has twice during the college football playoff era. And so just thinking back on those memories and moments is cool. But Tim Beret this week also tweeted something. I don't want to give too much into it. Actually tweeted it today that sort of tied into a conversation we had yesterday on the program when we were talking a little bit about Chez Malusi. So we'll talk with Tim about that. I don't want to give too much away. That's at the top of the hour. Now, you certainly tuned in to the show that shakes the Southland to hear from me, but you probably wanted to hear a little bit from Dabo Swinney as well, as, of course, the Clemson Tigers were they're doing some walkthroughs today, shorts, etc., getting ready for the trek over to Charlotte. They'll also take in Bank of America Stadium, get a look at the ground, new turf there. But and Clemson is fairly familiar with this venue, right? I mean, they've been to the ACC championship. Let me check my watch, quite a bit as of late. And so they're very familiar with the venue, but they got new guys. And maybe one of the bigger things could be the fact that, or the significance of these young men who have yet to play really in front of a packed house or a crowded venue. I mean, that's something certainly to consider. And Dabo Swinney was asked about that. What's that going to be like for maybe DJ Uiagalelei and others? Of course, he played in big contest in South Bend last year, but he said he thought it was only 25,000. I think that was a stretch on the number. I don't believe it was even that many people at that game. But here's what Dabo Swinney had to say about, how the team, I guess, should respond or what he expects out of this group heading into a matchup of this magnitude with a crowd in the house. Well, I thought, but apparently my audio is not wanting to roll with me here today. All right, let me see if I can get Dabo here. I think I do finally have it. I don't know what's going on. That was strange. All right, here's Dabo Swinney yesterday talking about that situation and Clemson's players getting out there in front of a crowded atmosphere.
Those guys.
Well, that's what they came here for, so we're gonna find out. Like I said, you just got to go play, and there's no greater teacher than experience. That's for sure. You can only prepare. You do the best you can in college football to prepare your guys. We had a good crowd in the spring, but obviously you couldn't have more than 20,000, all season last year. So we got two classes that this will be a whole new experience for them. But man, that's exciting. That's what you come to a place like Clemson for, college football, and to have, that experience. So it's definitely a part that we missed last year, and good opportunity for them to get some experience.
So there's Dabo Swinney talking about Clemson playing in front of a packed house. He was also asked about, what if Clemson can't run the ball? They struggled with that a good bit last year. He was asked about that, and would they be willing to maybe throw the ball 40 or 50 times if they had to?
I think we got to do whatever we got to do to win the game. It's run at 70. If it's throw at 70, the object's to win the game. So we got to do whatever we got to do. And as I've said many times, these are the hardest games that you play all year. These openers, regardless of who you play, but especially when you play an opponent like Georgia. With the type of personnel that you're going to see, there's just so many unknowns. So, we got to make the right adjustments and get a feel for, who they're going to be. We know what we think we know, but you don't ever know in these openers till you get in the game and you start playing. So the objective is to win the game. We're going to do everything we can to do just that. So certainly, in a perfect world, we'd love to be able to do both effectively. And hopefully that'll be the case. But we've got to do what we got to do to find a way to win the game.
We got to do what we got to do to find a way to win the game. You hear that from Dabo Swinney. And again, that first statement, I think we got to do whatever we got to do to win the game. That seemed to be the running theme there. Whatever it takes to beat this Georgia team. It sounds like Clemson would be okay with doing that. Now, the Tyler Davis situation, COVID-19. We have focused on COVID possibly more than most shows, so much so that one of our loyal listeners, Double O, calls me Dr. Fauci. But I'm just more Dr. Reality. And the reality, as I've always said from day one, is I see what's going on around me. I recognize how it has an impact on football and the fact that we have players that still have to fall into COVID-19 protocols. So Swinney was asked yesterday to clear the air. Is Tyler Davis available? Here's what Dabo Swinney had to say on that front.
With COVID.
No, I'm not. We're not going to confirm anything other than Saturday. We'll let everybody know who's available and who's not. But unless we got somebody with a long-term injury that we talked about, we're going to roll with the same policy we had last year.
So that means just a couple hours before kickoff, make sure you're following us on Twitter at Clemson Sports, because we will put out that information as soon as it lands in our hands from Clemson SID Ross Davis. 803-450 Ross Taylor, 803-450-0086. And we were talking about Tyler Davis there. If you're wondering, you're like, what? Maybe you don't know. Maybe you don't care. But yeah, it's Ross Taylor. Nonetheless, again, Dabo Swinney here on a Wednesday afternoon. Again, Tim Ray's coming up in just a little bit. We got a little bit more Dabo Swinney, though, to squeeze in. I would have gotten to some of this in this segment had we not had some issues with the audio wanting to play there moments ago. But we'll get back at it with Dabo Swinney. Plus, I'll check in on what you guys have been talking about, those of you watching the show live right now on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. And I hope you've headed over to the YouTube channel and at least hit that subscribe button. Get us to 500. That's the goal. 500 subscribers before Clemson takes on Georgia this weekend. You can do it. Let's do it. We'll be right back.